Well, good evening and welcome back to the Brothers-in-law. And on this channel, we discuss police-involved incidents that occur around the country, and we give our analysis on the actions of those police officers to see if their actions are what a reasonable officer would do. We also take a look at the actions of the citizens to see if they had followed our acronym of CALM, which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on, would their situation had turned out differently. Now, you may agree or disagree with us. That is fine. But it's our hope by the end of this video, you get a better understanding of how these incidents unfold. Again, we're giving you this as if we rode up on the scene as reasonable officers, what we would possibly do in these types of situations. If you're new to our channel, my name is Corey, and I was a Virginia State police officer for 7 years, and I'm a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer with 21 years of service. And my co-host is Mr. Mike.
Hey, good to be back. Good for another one. I'm Mike Bradley. I'm a 26-year police officer veteran, retired in Northern California, also 6-year Army veteran. So we're going to get into it tonight, and we love to show you some police incidents and what we think of them. If we like Corey said, if we were in their shoes, what we would do in that situation. So you guys sit back, buckle up your seatbelt, strap in, and let's get it on.
We're going to get it on. But first, as usual, if you're new to our channel, just checking us out. Excuse me. Appreciate you guys joining in on us tonight. Please go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. Help us out with the algorithm and get this message out of staying calm when you're interacting with law enforcement. And speaking of, we have our merch shop where you can go and get you a cool t-shirt like this here that says stay calm, comply, answer questions, listen, and move on with the stay calm underneath. And you can also design the back if you will. That's what I like about the site that we have, Spread Shop. You can create different designs that have different patterns and things on there that you can create. That picture on the back is our Dropbox, our background, excuse me, to our show here. And it has Brother-in-law on the back with the where you can find us at Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. So head on over to the shop, grab a t-shirt, help support us, get our message out far and wide. And we got a good show tonight. This one is an armed man in San Antonio, Texas, who runs from the police. I'm gonna tell you up front, this is a graphic video. Our condolences always is to the family, and to the law enforcement and everybody involved in this, because these aren't situations that typically don't end well, do they, Mike?
No, they don't. Unfortunately, you have some unwanted, less than desirable outcomes, and that's unfortunate. You know that it ended up this way. But we're gonna look at it. We're gonna dig into it. We're gonna talk about it. We appreciate the comments. If you guys got thoughts on the video that you see, what would you have done as the officer in this situation? What would you have done? Hey, Tone, I see you, Tone. I see you, Stacy. I see you, Jesus loves you. And I see you, let's see, Scott. I see you too, Scott. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get into it, you know?
All right. So again, like I just said, this video occurred, actually, this whole investigation started back in June of this year, June 21st. Cops had received a call for, I'm assuming this was probably for a domestic, but call. Police arrive on scene there. They've tried to get this individual into custody. He fled from the police. The victim identified this young man as the suspect. And so then we fast forward to July 16th. Apparently, after they try to catch him the first time he gets away from running from him, they went on ahead and issued all these warrants. So the reason for the stakeout, if you will, on July 16th is that they had gotten a tip from a caller that this is where this individual was at this hotel. They sat out there for several hours waiting for him, and finally he then comes up, and then we'll see it. The the rest of it from there. Hey, Mom, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Taylor. Yeah, and just real quick, just a quick point, just so we understand that this guy had a warrant for possession of a firearm. It was, I guess, it was illegal for him to possess a firearm. He had a warrant for assault with a deadly weapon. So this wasn't just a shoplifting. You know what I'm saying? This was
evading arrest.
Yeah, evading arrest.
Evading arrest, unauthorized use of a vehicle, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Yeah. So my first question to our viewers, if you know this man has these types of warrants, active warrants, how would you classify this this individual, as a threat or not as a threat?
Yeah.
So you know, when you go to a call like this, an officer has to have that type of mindset. All right, I'm getting ready to encounter a very dangerous individual. And so, you know, that's my question. What do you think that officer's mindset should be going in here? Should he or she be on, you know, 100 amped up, or should they be lackadaisy, Barney Fife style going into this? You know,
good point. To all our viewers, yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, my mindset as an officer is I'm going in to arrest this person who has these warrants, and these are what the warrants are for. So I'm going to assume he probably has a firearm. You know what I'm saying? One of the warrants is possession of a firearm. So I'm going to assume he has a firearm, whether I see it or not. You know what I'm saying? You know what this person looks like. You know this isn't going to be a simple, hey, how you doing? We noticed that you have warrants for this and that. Could you please turn around and put your hands behind your back? There's not going to be that kind of contact. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a very direct, very, you know, assertive, very strong. I'm going to come across as very authoritative when I see you, because I know I'm getting ready to arrest you. And I'm going to assume that you might run from me, you might try to shoot me, you might be armed. I'm going to assume all those things. So that is how I'm going to treat you when I'm staking this place out and when I see you out and about. You see what I'm saying? So I want people to understand that. What would you do, folks? And how would your mindset be in that situation? You were the cop and you getting ready to arrest this individual that you suspect he's at this location, and you suddenly see him for these reasons. What would you do? What would your mindset be? What will you be ready to do in your mind?
Right. All right, here we go, y'all. And this is real short. It's about 3 minutes and 45 seconds. So we'll just let the whole thing play. There's no commentating anything. It's just the officer's body cam. And then we'll comment on it afterwards and get into discussion.
Lieutenant Michelle Ramos with the San Antonio Police Department. This critical incident video release is intended to provide you with information, as the department currently understands it, about an officer-involved shooting that occurred on July 16th, 2023 at the 6900 block of IH 35 North. I will walk you through the video relevant to the facts of this incident as we know them so far. Content of this video may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. At approximately 11 a.m., San Antonio police officers were at the location after receiving a tip that a suspect who was wanted for multiple felony warrants, including violent felonies, was staying at the hotel. After several hours of conducting surveillance, officers observed the suspect enter the vehicle he was known to drive. A detective wearing a tactical vest that was labeled with police on the front and back quickly approached and ordered the suspect to show his hands. The suspect fled from the detective on foot, at which point the detective observed the suspect holding a gun in his hand.
He's got a gun! He's got a gun!
As officers were chasing the suspect on foot, uniformed officers in 2 marked subdued patrol vehicles made the location in an attempt to assist in apprehending the suspect. The suspect continued to run towards the access road where the 2 patrol vehicles were approaching. Officers in the 2nd patrol vehicle saw the suspect running in their direction with a gun in hand and drew their firearms. The officer driving the vehicle slowed down and shot twice through the windshield of the patrol vehicle, striking the suspect. At no time did the patrol vehicle hit the suspect. Here is body camera footage of another officer at the scene.
Drop the fucking gun!
Hold the gun, guys. Running.
Here is body camera footage of the officer who fired at the suspect.
Guys, he's running.
Okay, right. Stop. He's got a gun.
Here is a slowed down version of the suspect holding the firearm. Officers provided life-saving measures at the scene prior to EMS arrival. Suspect, identified as 30-year-old Adrian San Martin, was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Here is a slowed-down version of the patrol vehicle's dash cam.
That's a good point, Scott. Very good point.
Investigations into deadly force are comprehensive and can take over a year. A reminder, this is our current understanding of the situation and could change as investigators gather more information. The San Antonio Police Department.
All right, so that's it for the video. So where do we start, Mike?
I mean, well, they're already staking out the place. They see him. He comes out and tries to get into his car or something like that. And they immediately start giving commands and ordering him. Let me see your hand. So there should be no question that he knows what's going on. He knew he was wanted. You know what I'm saying? And why would he have a firearm in his hand? Okay, you got a firearm in your hand as an officer. I'm going to assume you ready to use that firearm. If you got it in your hand and you take off from me and you still holding that firearm in your hand, okay, and I can see you holding that firearm, I can assume that if I catch up to you, you might shoot me. You probably going to shoot me. You know what I'm saying? If I try to block you or impede you, you're probably going to shoot me. You got that firearm in your hand, and I'm going to assume you're ready to use it.
Yeah. 100%. So one thing you're not going to do, as you see in the first two body cams, they were close. One, I'm not going to try and tackle that individual, and he has a firearm. That's straight Hollywood.
That's TV stuff,
right? So, and it's good that they never shot that because he had the weapon, and you don't have to be fully extended out for that weapon to be a threat and for him to shoot. He's running like this. I don't have to be fully. I guess I should probably stand up. I don't have to be fully extended out. I can have the gun. Where's my camera? Can you see me?
Yep.
I can shoot you from right here.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to go straight out. I can shoot you right here. I can turn the gun sideways like this and bang, bang, and shoot you. So
I can shoot you in the rear too. If I'm running from you, I can easily turn that gun and shoot you from behind, which has happened in numerous occasions. That has happened. Now,
it's a good thing that the officers did not fire at that point. And this is another thing that the officers always have to remember is their backdrop, right? They couldn't shoot into the buildings, right? Why? Because it's not residential, it was a hotel, right? So they had to be careful with that. When to shoot. So that was good on them that they weren't, as people would say, trigger happy and started just letting bullets fly right there in front of the hotel like that. So and the second body camera guy was telling them not to drop the weapon. In the end, is it wrong for them to shoot out the window? I'm with Scott on this. No, it's not. We've trained that.
Yep.
We added that to our training to shoot through the window. But at the same time, he could have ran them over.
Yeah.
And would have been justified for that. So they had options. Is
Well,
there?
let's slow
Is
down.
there?
Let's slow down, because I think the average citizen, when we say he could have run him over, I think the average citizen would be shocked at that. You know what I'm saying, Corey? I think the average citizen would like, what? Run him over with the car? Folks, a car is deadly force too. It could be a deadly weapon too. Okay. So if I see you running towards me with a firearm in your hand, yeah, that's an option. Good comment, Scott. That's an option. I can hit that gas and run you over. You know what I'm saying? Which I've seen that done in other videos before too.
I believe there was an incident that happened. I think it was earlier in this week or over the weekend where a young lady was hit by the police officer because she had a weapon. You're, as an officer, you're going to do what you need to do to stop the threat. When there's weapons involved, folks, always remember it. Just like taking someone into custody, it's never pretty.
No.
You know, but we train like that, Mike, shooting through the window.
Yeah, we trained like that before at the range too. Train on what we even trained on what happens to a bullet when it goes through that windshield from the inside, when it comes into the windshield from the outside. You know what I'm saying? We've had training on those types of things. So that's not that, although it sounds like some TV stuff, that is actual training that we have had. You know, so and hitting somebody with a car, well, you can't really train on that, but we've definitely talked about incidents where something like that would be appropriate. You know what I'm saying?
Good point, Anthony. Yeah, it depends on department policy and I'm talking about what we did here. I don't, you know, when we're speaking about how we were trained. I can't speak on it. It may be different in Arkansas. It may be different in Pensacola, Florida, what their policy is for individuals or for officers to be able to shoot from within their vehicles. I think it's a necessary training because there may be a situation where you may never be able to get out of your vehicle and you may have to shoot from inside. We even trained that way in the military. Go remember all that training we went through shooting from inside the vehicles. So it's a necessary part of training. Now, whether or not your department allows that's their policy, and he also has to be
Anthony,
mindful of it.
That's a good comment, Anthony. I'm not familiar with how that particular incident, but being an officer out in California, we have trained like that, shooting through the window in certain circumstances. Now, again, if your department policy strictly forbids shooting through the window, period, then obviously that's a violation of policy. But ours didn't say that. We actually trained because there could, like Corey was saying, there could be some very appropriate situations where shooting from inside your vehicle is necessary. You know what I'm saying? Or like you say, where you could run them over at the vehicle too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Your main goal is to stop the threat. However that means, because you know, I know I've seen a couple of articles, Mike, where the individual saying, well, he wasn't a threat, but he was just running. He never pointed the weapon at anybody. Folks, it doesn't take much. You don't have to, like I just showed you a few minutes ago, you don't have to fully extend your arm to be a threat. How many times must you be told to drop the weapon? To drop the weapon. You know, you'd be lucky, you know, 2 or 3 times I needed to tell you to drop it, and then I'm gonna discharge my weapon.
I mean, and Mr. Sayer, that's a good comment. She says, do they shoot to kill? You don't hear officers say, I'm trained to kill. No, we're not trained to kill. Now, if I use deadly force against you, am I aware that you might die from the force that I'm using? Absolutely, I'm aware of that. but that is not my intent to kill you. My intent is to stop you and stop that threat as fast and as hard as I can. We don't train to shoot people in the leg. We don't train to shoot people in the hand. I ain't that good of a shot to shoot you in the hand while you running. Okay. So we don't train like that. You know what I'm saying? We train
it's to stop the threat.
Right. We train to shoot
center mass, and to stop the threat.
Then sit the biggest part of the body. That's right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to say, no, we don't shoot to kill. We shoot to stop the threat. That's what we do.
That is shoot to stop the threat using the appropriate amount of force necessary.
Good point, Scott. Good comment.
And anytime you're using that appropriate amount of force necessary, there's a probable chance of someone dying. And so that's why I pull my weapon a lot, but I never discharge it. And I thank the Lord every night I never had to discharge my weapon.
Yeah. I 26-year veteran, never had to actually shoot someone. You know what I'm saying? I am so thankful that I never had to. And Anthony, I think I do remember that Vallejo officer. I think he was still on FTO because he was the passenger in that car, in the patrol car. And I think he was actually still on FTO and they were chasing somebody and he shot. If I recall that situation, he clearly shot too fast. It wasn't that he shot through the window. He shot so fast to where it didn't look like it was necessary for him to shoot when he did. You know what I'm saying? I think I remember that if I'm remembering that correctly. But at any rate, some departments you can't shoot the window, and like I say, unless your department policy specifically says no. You know what I'm saying? It's really difficult. Go ahead, Corey.
Now, I was just going to comment on Scott's here. The last part may require one round or many. Yeah, you shoot to the threat is stopped. So if you hit one shot and they stop, they drop the weapon, then you stop shooting. There's no particular policy that says, well, in this situation, you can only shoot this many times, or in this situation, you can only shoot this many times. But if he does this, then you got to do that. No, that's not how it works. You shoot until the threat is stopped. So if it's one and done. If it takes you 2 shots, it's 2 shots. If it takes you 10 shots for them to stop, then it is what it is. All right. And then you get into the, that's excessive. No, he kept coming. He's whatever. Because you got somebody who high as a kite and on that cocaine or heroin, 10 shots ain't going to bring them down.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and Monday morning quarterback. We sitting at the comforts of our home, the safety of our couch, and we are slowing time down, looking at a video second by second and able to determine exactly what we might do in that situation. That's easy to do it that way, okay? But you have to understand in real time, these officers ain't got that luxury. You know what I'm saying? This guy's got it running with a gun in his hand, wanted for multiple felony warrants. Okay. Is it unreasonable or is it reasonable to think he might use that gun on you? Absolutely. If he's running and I'm telling you to drop it and you ain't dropping it, is it reasonable for an officer to think that, man, he's going to shoot me if I try to stop him? Absolutely. It's reasonable to think that. You know what I'm saying? So, that decision that officer had to make at that quick moment to shoot that suspect who was coming towards him, okay, with a gun in his hand, with no indication that he was going to drop that gun, okay, that's threat. That's a threat. You know what I'm saying? Now, who knows today, Corey, the way things are today, what's going to happen in this situation, what a court will decide, I don't know. We're just telling you how would I have shot in that situation? Maybe. Okay. I could tell you this more than likely, but it's easy for me to say that because I'm sitting here being able to slow a video down, look at it 20,000 times and think different aspects of whether or not I would have shot. You know what I'm saying? Would I have shot that guy at that moment at that time, at that second, very possible. You know what I'm saying? Probably. I could say probably after having the luxury of taking my time with it.
If for me, I probably would have hit him with the car, to be honest with you. If I'm that close and not having enough time really to get out and get set. I mean, he had a partner, so the partner was able to get out, but he still, stopped the car and still got out shot. Me, I probably would have, bumped him with the car and tried to knock him down. Tone says, if you shoot center mass, isn't that shoot to kill? Your heart, your lungs, etc.
Good point.
Well,
good comment.
You shoot center mass because that's the biggest target, right? Like Mike said a few minutes ago, it's hard to shoot somebody in the leg that's running, and it's hard to shoot somebody in the arm that's running. But the mass here is a large enough target for you to really, in that moment, to point that weapon straight and hit. You're more likely to hit that center mass area and stop the threat.
Right.
So
I mean, basically,
yeah, there's vital organs there. I can still hit you in the thigh and you can still die.
Possible. You know what I'm saying?
You could possibly bleed out if I hit that artery.
But I understand where Tone is going, and I think most citizens think that way. If you shoot somebody in the chest, you can assume that you probably likely to kill them if you shoot him in the chest. Again, Tone, we know that as an officer, I know that if I shoot you dead center in the chest, there's a good chance you might not make it. Okay. But before going into that, my mentality is not to kill you. Even when I pull that gun out, I'm just thinking, I got to stop you. You know what I'm saying? Am I possibly going to kill you by doing what I'm doing? Yeah, I know that. You know what I'm saying? But that still is not my intent as an officer. So you'll never hear an officer say, I'm trying to kill you. You know what I'm saying? That don't even sound right. I ain't trying to kill. I wasn't trying to kill you when I came up here in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to stop. I'm trying to safely arrest you. Okay. If I don't have to pull my gun, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to safely arrest you. I ain't trying to kill you. But if you show me deadly force, I'm going to return deadly force.
And I think he took that option away when he chose to run. One, to come outside with that gun. Now, whether or not he knew they were out there, I don't know. I that can be debated. I don't think he knew, but he was able to get that weapon drawn and take off. Right then, he took that, hey, just simple, just let's go, hey, drop it and let's go ahead and let's get you placed under arrest. Now he took off running. He was a known runner. He's ran from them before, and they knew who he was. And so he took that element away from him, Mike. And so now it's game on. Now the plot changes now. Even though you're going in there with the mindset of them being armed, now you really are elevated because now you got eyes on that weapon. He's not complying. So what do you think the next step is?
I see your comment, Scott. I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm the same way. You know what I'm saying? I definitely understand that. But I love these comments, whether it's from former or present officers or just citizens. I love these comments because it does give us an opportunity to explain what would be in a reasonable officer's mind. You know what I'm saying? So keep those comments coming, folks. Love them. Good comment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing you want. That's the last thing you want to do, Mike, is use deadly force. I'd be much happier just being able to detain you. I mean, like we talked about last week, in a perfect world, a perfect scenario, hey, I come up, hey, drop the weapon, you drop the weapon.
No.
turn around. You know what I mean? Perfect textbook scenario, right?
True.
But we know it doesn't happen that way, right, Scott?
We got to be ready if it doesn't. That's the thing.
You got to be ready. This is not Barney Fife.
What does God say? You assume you a threat until I prove you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
100%. You're a threat until I prove you're not. But it's just not like that, right? And so you have to be ready for these types of things. And it's a sad situation. Nobody wins in these types of situations. It's not, a high five. Now you may see officers high five, but they're high five because nobody got hurt, right? Hey man, you
Right.
good? Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. It's not a celebration because they know the crap that now has to go along with this when you discharge that firearm and then somebody gets shot or killed. So
Absolutely.
it's not a celebration that takes place after these police involved incidents like that. So hey, real quick, if you're just joining us, we're talking about a armed San Antonio man who's fleeing from the police and was shot by a police officer through a windshield. We thank all you guys for joining us tonight. If you just joining us, please hit that like button. If you're new, subscribe to our channel to help us out with the algorithm to get this type of conversation going out. Now, we speak about the acronym CALM, right? Which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. When he chose to run, the acronym goes out the window, right? It just, he changed the dynamics of the whole scenario.
Yeah.
If he had followed the acronym call, he realized, all right, it's over. There's no, I'm just gonna,
they got me.
face the consequences. Hey,
Delando
would have played out to the T, but criminals aren't going to obey. This guy obviously didn't want to get caught, so he had to have it in his head to know, okay, if I run, either you're gonna have to catch me, or you're gonna have to kill me. Why are you running?
And I got a gun in my hand, and I'm gonna use it if you try to stop me. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm gonna look at you, and that's how I'm gonna. You're showing me that that's what you're going to do. You're not dropping a weapon. All this could have been handled differently. Well, yeah, I only bring this up because I saw a lot of comments about how it should have been handled differently. Like Corey, like you were saying, once you have a gun in your hand, you run. We don't have, what should I say? Some people might say, why not just let him go? Just let him run away. You know what I'm saying? That's not, first of all, it's not in the instinct of an officer. Okay. Second of all, they're there to it's their job to catch him. He's got warrants. He's got felony warrants, violent felony warrants, where he has tried to hurt somebody in the past. Okay. It is not they have a duty to catch him, to stop him. It is not their duty to back away and just let an armed individual with felony warrants just run away, run right past them and keep going. It's not their duty. It's not police officers' duty to do that. Okay. It's their job to stop him. Okay. Yeah. So to say it could have been handled differently, well, shoot, yeah, it could have been handled differently. He could have stopped running. He could have not run with a gun in his hand. The number one thing was that gun.
Could have dropped the gun when he was asked.
Yeah, there you go. Could have dropped the gun when he was asked. There are a million things that he could have done differently. Okay. But when you present
that's what I'd have to say, Mike, that's what eats me up the most is now we want to switch the blame onto law enforcement, right? I mean, you put those officers in that situation. Once you took off running, you changed the whole dynamic of the situation by running. Now you leave them with really much choice. One, either you're going to get hit by this car because you're not stopping and you're running with a weapon. Two, or you're going to get shot. There's really no other way that you're just going to keep running after him, for the next, like you said, 15 city blocks, with the hopes of him just, getting winded and tired and then ultimately quits.
Right.
Running where he could possibly grab another individual, another citizen, and hold them hostage. Now you got another crisis at hand. No, you need to stop the threat, get this situation drawn to a close, and this is the end result.
How about this? What if he would have gotten away? And what if he went to the person who he thinks tipped the police off as to where he was and shot and killed them? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of what ifs there. But the bottom line is it's not the police. It's the police officer's duty to stop you, to catch you. Okay. That they have a job and that is their duty to catch you when you have some warrants like that. And we're not, if I'm standing there and you running towards me with a firearm, my first instinct is not to back away and let you run by me. That's not my instinct as a reasonable officer. My reasonable officer is to draw down on you, start giving commands if I have time to do that. Okay. But if I feel that this is a situation that is now deadly or has the possibility of being deadly, I'm going to take appropriate action. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So Delando asks, he's curious to know, have you ever been asked why can't police officers shoot a suspect in the leg instead of aiming center mass during a police chase?
We just talked about that, Delando.
Yeah, we just talked about that. We're not trained that way. We're trained to shoot center mass. It's just a bigger target. It's not to kill you, but it's just to stop you. Because think about this: if I shoot you in the leg, can you still be a threat? Now, quite naturally, you can still be a threat if I shoot you in the abdomen.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if I shoot you in the chest, you still got time to come after me. You know what I'm saying? There's been training videos actually showing stuff like that where the suspect was shot and they kept coming. Okay, it's not like TV when you get shot one time and you go down. You know what I'm saying?
You're falling out.
Right. It's not like that. It's not like that in real life. And I can say that because I have seen training videos like that in situations where officers were in those situations having to shoot a suspect. And, you know, a couple of bullets may not do it. You know what I'm saying? But with your adrenaline flowing, I could tell you right now, if I'm having to shoot somebody, I'm pulling that trigger as many times as I can until you go down, until that threat is gone. That could be 10 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Easily. You know what I'm saying? So understand that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent question, though, Delando. I mean, we used to get asked that all the time, you know. Why do you have to shoot that way? Why can't you just shoot the gun out their hands? All kinds of things. Like, okay, is that stopping the threat? You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen. That's what Hollywood does to you. You know, it gives you that false idea that, yeah, that's how it should be done. No, that's not how it's done in real life. I mean, Goat still on here? Goat is 100. I mean, even when you go hunting, you shoot deer. I mean, you're not shooting that deer in the leg, right? Where are you shooting that deer? In its biggest target, mostly up trying to hit it in the neck area,
right?
To get him down, or you know, you might get a shot in the buttocks area, because you're not trying to destroy the meat, so you ain't hit him in the neck.
That's right, Anthony. We did show a video. I remember that video in the mall shooting. But put it this way, Corey, how many of our viewers do you think you could shoot a guy in his hand while he's running? Who thinks they are good enough to where they could shoot from a distance, shoot a guy in his hand while he's running? That's a hard target, okay? That's why we don't train to shoot in those areas, because it's really a 50-50 chance if you hit any of those areas anyway. Okay, you have more of a chance hitting him in that upper torso, that big part of the body, than anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's running. So I know I ain't that confident that I can shoot somebody's hand while they're running from me. You know what I'm saying? I could tell you that. Right now.
I mean, you got to think about how much, you know, concentration has to go into that. You know, you got to be focused and zoned in to be able to make that shot. Your adrenaline is pumping. You know, you got 8 million things running through your mind right now, and you want me to block all that out and then zone in.
Right. Take my deep breaths.
Yeah.
Have the time to get a good
in on
picture. Okay.
Right.
Squeeze that trigger. I ain't got time for all that in a heat of the moment shooting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You just don't have it's just not going to happen. So let everyone know that's not how it's done. We shoot center mass to stop the threat in the store. Even we train that way in the military. So let us know what you think. Was this a good shot? Was it a bad shot? And could have been ended? Well, I don't even know. Could it have ended differently?
Look, all shootings at some point could have ended differently if the suspect just dropped a gun or did whatever they need to do, or not shown the motion to make themselves a threat. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, I understand why the officer decided to shoot him. Yes, I can understand why he decided to shoot him. Okay. Now, that's not the same of giving a definitive answer of whether or not I would have shot, okay, versus run him over or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you this, I can understand. I think it is within reason that this officer chose to shoot. That's my personal opinion. But Corey, like I say, the way things are going today.
See, that's the difference right there. Okay, so I'm going to assume Scott on here is law enforcement or prior law enforcement based on his comments. So if that's true,
I haven't heard verbal judo in a long time.
Right. So that makes me think he's law enforcement or prior law enforcement. So with two officers and possibly three officers' opinions on, you get three different answers on how we would have handled it.
Yes.
Scott earlier stated that, he might have ran him over. Mike said he probably would have shot. Me, I would agree with Scott. I probably would have, depending on how fast I could stop my car and get out, I probably would have hit him with the car. When you're an officer, that's why you can't really. I mean, you got to let officers make that decision. They have to make these decisions quickly. And like I said, we have the privilege of sitting at home in our couches and watch these videos, and he could have done this or she could have done that. Well, why didn't they just do this? Why didn't they just shoot him in the head? Well, we can Monday morning quarterback this, 6 ways to Sunday. But in reality, when you're in that situation, when you're in that moment, you're going to make the best decision necessary to protect your life and those who are around you. So you have to make that split-second decision. Now, we're going to come out and make changes to policy and things, say, oh, no, you can't hit a running suspect anymore with the vehicle. So what am I supposed to do? How do I stop the threat? What about the citizens around the area and their safety? Like you said, Mike, do you let him keep running and run through the community with a firearm? What if he goes back to the other person that called and said, hey, this is where he is? Because he's going to find that out, because only a few selected people knew where he was. Right. And so it's our job to protect all those other citizens. So, it happens. You have to make that decision. And I don't know if you got to be the right type of person to be in those type of situations to make those types of decisions. And once you pull that trigger, it's a wrap. You own it.
Yep, you own it. You own it.
You
once you let that bullet fly, well, you better account for it. You better articulate why it left your gun. You better articulate what you saw and how you felt and how you thought it was a threat or not. You better be able to articulate. It's not enough to say, I fired because my partner did.
Right. And you can't say in this situation you fired because you were scared.
Yeah, you better say I feared for my life. That's what you should have done. I feared for my life or somebody else's life that was presented in front of me at that moment, at that time. You know what I'm saying? And Corey, real quick, when people say fear for my life, they think of I think they think like TV stuff. They see someone who's, oh my God, fear for my life. As an officer, I think we think of fear for our life is Could I get shot at this moment in time? Yes. That's fearing for my life. You know, when you say the words, this is just my personal opinion. When you say the words fear for my life, that sounds so dramatic, but it sounds like something that citizens will want to hear before you use deadly force. But for me to use deadly force, do I fear that you're going to shoot me if I don't shoot you? Yeah, something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing to me, this fear for my life.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, if you're gonna use it, be able to articulate your reasoning.
Yeah,
that's at the end of the day. So again, we're gonna call this one tonight. There was a great conversation, short video, but a lot of good talking points in it. Please, again, if you haven't done so already, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for us. Please share this video out to at least one family member, one friend that you think will find these types of discussions interesting, and get them to join in the conversation. We love having these types of discussions, helping to educate the community on how to interact with law enforcement and what goes through an officer's mind when they get into these types of situations. So you can go out and relay this information to others and why these incidents happen the way they do, and how they could possibly change their situation if they follow the acronym CALM, Mike, which stands for comply,
answer questions, listen,
and move on. So we thank y'all for joining us tonight. We love you. If you got a video you like for us to break down, or if you'd like to be on our show and break down a video with us, hit us up on Facebook or over on email us. Let me put that up here for you. Where we at? Let me get it on the screen. It's gonna scroll down at the bottom here. Hit us up at the Brothas-in-law on Facebook. And Brothers-in-law _21 for Instagram. If you email us at brothersinlaw21@gmail.com, love to get you on the show, have you on. If you got a video you like for us, like I said, to break down for you, just hit us up on Facebook or email it to us. So Mike, final words.
I appreciate you guys joining us. Scott, Goat, Jesus loves you, Delando, Tone, Stacy, appreciate you guys joining us. Appreciate the comments. Love the comments. You know what I'm saying? Scott, we might have to have you on the show with us one day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some good stuff. Go. Appreciate you coming on. And again, like you say, I hope you look at us as regular guys from the neighborhood. I mean, we don't have any hidden agendas or any personal vendettas or anything like that. We just a couple of guys who happen to have been cops, and we're telling you our opinion and our view based on our training and experience about what happened and what we would do. You know, that's all our goal is here. Okay. Yeah. So appreciate you guys coming on. You guys have a good weekend. Hopefully it's coming up real quick. And let's watch some football.
Yes, sir. Let's watch that football. All right, y'all. Till next Thursday, 8:10. God bless. We love you and be safe.
All right.
Peace out.